Now it's
Okay.
recording.
Okay.
Happy birthday
To
to
you.
you.
Happy birthday
To
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday, dear
birthday, Edwin. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Woo!
So hard with
Great.
the time lag, you know?
Yeah.
I know.
Everybody seems different, like
Well, I should
different
have
time.
more of these too. Yeah.
I think that because we are all talking at the same time, everything comes with delay, so it sounds so funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I definitely got a recording of this now, so I feel really good. I can cut that little piece out and put it on Facebook or something.
Oh God!
That's funny.
Yeah, did you see my Facebook picture from my first birthdays?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me put that up. I can send you the link real quick. So it was my, let me see, just a second here. Yeah, I'm getting all these birthday wishes on Facebook. Like,
All the time.
yeah, oh, I saw, Rosie, you had yours there too. I just see that one. Thanks for that.
Yay. And it's a big birthday. 60th. No?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I don't know, it doesn't feel real. I don't feel 60, that's for sure.
No, I can't. You don't look 60.
Yeah, I sure don't feel like it. So here's the link to the picture. That was my 4th birthday, and then I think
Aw.
5th or 6th. That was my post for the birthday.
Nice. That's very cool.
I'm trying to open it. I haven't seen. Come on.
Oh, you got a train there?
Yeah, this is a little town and it has a train and it's just so loud, but there's no way you can escape it.
Oh, really? Wow. How often does it come?
Oh, I'm not sure. Sometimes it feels like it's always coming,
Okay.
even at night.
Oh, wow, yeah. So anyway, that's my birthday, the
Yay.
first.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do today?
Joan's taking me out to sushi. We have this sushi restaurant in Berkeley that's like
Nice.
the best sushi restaurant probably in the area here, the East
Nice.
Bay. So she's going to take me out. And then tomorrow I'm in around Berkeley in San Francisco. And then tomorrow I go to Sacramento where my family lives. It's about 100
Okay.
kilometers. And they're going to take me out to dinner too. So I'll go visit with them. So that's about it. Nothing too big. Just having dinner and going out and doing design
Doing design.
with you guys.
Your passion. I can see that.
Maybe
Yeah.
I should have designed my birthday. That could have been a project.
You designed your birthday. That's a good one. And I also thought how we designed the cards. You know, if this was on your birthday, we could have designed cards for you.
Oh yeah, that would have been an idea. I had a an empathy card for Edwin.
Birthday what?
An empathy birthday
card
card
for
for
Edwin,
Edwin. Yeah.
Look at that. How elegant, Edwin, with all those ties.
I know. That was my parents had just immigrated from Germany, and they were very formal, and I had to always dress up and stuff.
Wow.
So I just put the link to our work page in. I see
Okay.
Sonia's already there.
Right.
I already filled it in. So you can go in. This was the prototyping discussion. I already filled it in. It's like a reading takeaway role of prototyping in your course goals. And so you can go in your column and just write into the text box. So it says, "Way to go! You made it. You made a prototype." And we did. It was really nice prototypes. I thought it worked pretty well. We hope you had fun with that quick build. As the course continues, you'll take your rough prototype skills further each time. Before we build again today, let's step back for a moment and talk about prototyping at a higher level. In the Class 1 readings, you learned about why prototyping is key to human-centered design, explored some fundamentals. Take a few moments to briefly discuss the following questions. So, if you want to write in your reading takeaways, the role of prototyping, and course goals in those boxes, and just write a few comments in there and take a few minutes, and then we can start with discussion and then move along. I'm just going to check my partner how she's doing.
I'm gonna move to another to Google Chrome because I cannot open it in Firefox.
Okay. Hi, Mercedes. Hey, hi, Sonia. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know why this. Are you using Firefox? I cannot open. It says page unresponsive. So let me see if I can open it in Chrome. Perhaps it's just, signal here.
You mean the Murally?
Yeah. I'm trying to get there to fill the thing, and let's see if it opens. It doesn't want to open for me here. Let's open in a new window and see what I get.
I think I started filling out somebody else's.
You may be my...
I'm moving.
It's okay. You can stay. We can work in one sheet, Sonia. It's okay.
Oh God, I hate this.
What's the problem?
I have both, two Mozilla and Fire and Chrome open to see, and it's not coming up.
Chrome usually works better, they say.
Yeah.
So ideally.
Yeah, that's why I try. Let's see if it finally comes up. Talks about its script. Stop the script. Just bring the thing up.
It shows you're in the document here.
This is sign in. Let's see. You have to sign. Or it's because I open it with another browser. Well, it won't open here in Firefox, so I will just sign in.
Yeah, you're best to use Chrome. A lot of people, the folks from Murally said it works best in Chrome, and a lot of people who were using different browsers said they found it better in Chrome.
Yeah, I finally got in Chrome. You're right. So where am I? Let's see.
So down at 3, prototyping discussion.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oops. Okay, so let's see. is mine. No, it's so hard for them to do this.
Yeah, it helps to have a lot of screens.
Well, I cannot move this up. I'm gonna. You said there was a little zoom in tool.
If you have a mouse with a scroller, you just can scroll in and out.
I'm using the laptop. I will have to connect the mouse the next time.
As well as if you have, you can do the squeeze, open and close. You know, that will zoom. It's like Google Maps. If you ever use Google Maps, it has the same functionality.
It's just that for some reason, it's not easy for me to move around murally, you know? It gets stuck. So I'm still trying to get to my own place to write, and I haven't been able to. It's get too small, so I cannot read, or I'm not sure if this is mine, but I will write here. Oh, I will never write. I cannot write.
What problem are you having?
I cannot write. Do I have to? Let's see, text. Do I have to get a?
You should be able to double click on it and then.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, I'm just gonna close it and try to open it again.
I'm sorry, Mercedes.
So difficult, but I don't know why, because you seem not to have any trouble with it.
I had trouble the first day. It was like it was flying all over the place, and I had a hard time opening a certain box. But I don't know what happened. I still know, actually, on my sheet, there's still a place where it didn't work out. So I'm wondering, yeah, I don't know if I did anything to make it better. But it definitely is. I mean, this is a new program, so it probably has its ways. You know what I was thinking, Mercedes? There was a question that when I was going in Murally was asking, like, do you want to use the function of closing and opening, like with on the mouse pad, you know, like that, like opening and like this. There were like there seemed to be two ways of operating this site, you know.
Perhaps do any of you are working with Windows 10?
No.
No.
That's probably is. I'm working with Windows 10.
Windows 10.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh God.
It's okay. Hugs to you. Maybe. What about this, Edwin? Maybe we can somehow like type up Mercedes's stuff for her.
Yeah, we can do that.
For you know, for the time being, and then.
See if it opens. Okay, here I am. Let's see if I can make it work now. No.
Well, let's start the discussion when we come to yours. You can just say it, and we can type it in, and then when we go to the next page, maybe it'll be work differently on the next screen.
Mm-hmm.
Should we try that?
Okay, start the discussion.
Okay, so yeah, so we have the reading takeaway. We're just going to share what we have for that. So I wrote, I see the importance of prototyping and not trying to be perfect. And from experience, I also see that we need lots of iterations to create something useful. So I've done the design process, quite a few times, and it really seems to take a lot of iterations to create something really useful. So it's a bit of ideas from my experience as well as from the readings. So the next one, should we just go across, or?
Sure.
Okay.
It's me?
Yeah, I think it's you.
Yeah. So I can see the important role of. Wait, no, I'm on the wrong. My biggest takeaway was that prototyping is designed for failing and inviting comments from others. In order to make the idea into a prototype, so many things come up that I would have not even conceived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched a video. It was from, I think, Dartmouth, a class, a prototyping class, and that was like really hit me how it's not about being perfect at all. Like it's almost like the opposite of going for perfection. It's like the very quick and simple way, like to get it out. Which is so unlike the way I usually do things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have this polished thing. I care about the response of people, because I take things personally. So it's a very interesting thing for me to work on the prototyping.
Yeah, it changes the way you kind of approach things.
Yes.
It's like a whole different way. It's almost like thinking by prototyping, that your thought, it's part of your thought process instead of like this finished piece. That's like it's part of the thinking process, and it's not you don't expect it to be perfect.
Yes, and also, I mean, the idea of like iteration, I can't even tell you. Even with photography, for instance, like I would edit a photo, and very rarely would I go and re-edit a photo. Very rarely. I have so many photos, right? But there is something to be said about, the learning process, that if I would edit the same photo a few times, and look at it with a almost fresh eye, say, oh, okay, this worked somehow, but what if I try this, and that's not something that, because of my thought process usually, which is I just go with the flow, and the new moment comes, like it's so hard for me to keep coming back to to a certain goal. So again, I mean, this is a challenge, but a welcome challenge, because I feel that as an idea person, I need to learn that, Otherwise, the ideas, they never have time to really come to fruition sometimes.
Yeah, so the iteration part is really helpful there.
Yeah, it's like a key piece that I've been missing. That's what I wrote about. Okay.
Oh, great. Sonia?
So I don't remember what I read about, but now that I think about it, my biggest takeaway, and actually I don't think it was in this reading, I think it was in the previous classes, like in the previous class in the prototyping section, where they said have a specific goal for the prototype. Prototype just one thing, one variable. So like every idea is complex, and you don't want to go and create the whole thing to test all the moving parts. You want to create one thing. So maybe if you're prototyping, a device, one thing you want to prototype is the size. So you just say, okay, we're prototyping, we're checking whether the size is right. Should it be bigger, should it be smaller? But not everything at once. You're not creating the size and the display and the connectivity and the whatnot. You're just saying one thing at a time. And I think this is really important, because many times I saw this, like we're prototyping with, we're continuing with the previous course with a girl. We're also prototyping remotely, but I sensed from her a little like this hesitance to let go of the prototyping everything. So like if you don't put all the ideas into one, then from her I sensed like she was hesitant to just say we're prototyping just one thing. She wanted to prototype everything at once because she felt that otherwise it wouldn't be complete. But it's not the point. You don't want to test the whole thing. You want to test a small thing of the idea to check whether that particular idea works. Because otherwise there's too many moving parts, and if people are giving feedback, then maybe they will not give feedback about all the things that you're looking for. So they will give you about X, but they won't give you feedback about Y because there's just so many. Like the idea is too complex that you're trying to prototype. So it's really important to focus just one thing at a time so you get specific feedback about that particular thing. I think that was really the biggest takeaway for me, and I don't think it was mentioned in these reading materials. I think it was in the previous ones, but I thought that this was this is really important, especially because that's how social research is done, or like any kind of research, in labs or anything. You take one variable, or even in biology research, all those kinds of research studies. You take one thing, two at most, to check, to keep everything else constant. That you know what is happening to that particular thing you're testing. Otherwise, there's too much noise.
So really focus on the specific area, not the whole big complex, and then be able to let go of that, not hold that whole so rigidly, but go into the various pieces and explore those.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
If your prototype has these many moving parts, you decide, okay, we're going to prototype X and we're going to prototype Y. And there can be two different prototypes for those things. That's really interesting. That it's not going to be the same prototype. There might be a different prototype because you're testing different things. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I really like the whole design thinking in that sense that they've done so much work at how does the mind work, how do you approach problems. So there's this whole tool set that's been laid out. So I keep learning all kinds of new things. So the step two, question two, is the role of prototyping. So let's see, I like to learn by doing. So which I see what prototyping is about. So instead of going to school and you just learn, the math or the whatever it is, just the ideas of it, is getting out and creating something, doing something. And actually, that was kind of my attitude growing up in high school. When I was in high school, I said, I don't want to go to college, at least not now. So I spent almost 10 years traveling and working my way around the world. So it was kind of I think it was very similar to that. Prototyping is learning by doing instead of just studying something. So that was mine, number two.
Awesome.
Do you want to go next, Christine?
Yeah, for me, I wrote, I can see the important role of prototyping, of getting the kinks out before more resources have been committed, and a show me rather than tell me mentality. I mean, like you, I definitely like to jump into things, but for me, it's like that, the continuous process, and even what you said, Sonia, about actually creating different, testing for different things, that's more unique. That's not how I would do usually. I would want to do everything at once and, read 15 books and,
study it.
What?
To really study it, typically.
Yeah,
really
study it and research it and observe it. I think I glanced over yours, Sonia, where you said that you like to research and observe. I'm the same way. I'm good at the researching and observing part, and even brainstorming. But to actually pick one of the things, commit to that, work through it, and then go to the next one and the next one, whoa, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm more in the I'm more here rather than here.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's much easier for me to read, to listen, to think, to analyze, to brainstorm, come up with ideas. But actually sitting down, especially like choosing which one,
Yes.
and focusing that one, and also doing it quick and dirty, and like, okay, let's do it. It's not that like, it's not in my nature. So it's really good that we're learning this. Like, just make it. Just, it's good enough. Whatever. That, I think that's part. Like,
yeah.
that it's good enough.
Yes.
Whatever you have. For me, it's always like, it has to be better. It can be better. And I just think that I can analyze my way to making it perfect.
Right.
But actually, it's realizing that you can prototype it to making it perfect. So it's actually the more efficient way, because you're already putting ideas out there.
Yes. To see how they're perceived.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way for like people like us who like to think, that actually you just change your perspective on what prototyping is. You're just like prototyping to make it perfect. You know, you're getting there.
Right.
So it's not like you're you're just saying, oh, for now it's good enough and let's just stick to it. No, you're actually making that thing to get to that level of goodness.
Yes.
Because sometimes it might feel like,
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Finish.
No, because sometimes it might feel like if you're prototyping that you're scared of, I don't know, in my case, like, you might be scared of prototyping because you think you're committing to this low level thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's scary. That is scary.
Yeah. So you have to just, realize that you're not committing to anything. You're on the journey to make it better through prototyping.
Yeah.
And realizing that it's not, that it's totally okay to throw that out. I think
that's big. That's big. Yeah.
That's really big, because I think, like, once we decide, like, when we've analyzed it and we created that idea, we decided, okay, we're prototyping this one. I think even if we get some feedback that is like, maybe it's not working, we might still try and hold on to it.
Yes.
Because we already have it. So I think it's really big to try and realize that it's okay to
let go. I think that's part of it too, is the holding on, right? Is that holding on is what inhibits the creativity. So that's the whole thing, is we're trying to relax our body, relax our mind, to allow the creativity, because creativity is like a new energy kind of coming in if we're holding our bodies kind of constricted. And I wonder about the role of empathy with this in prototyping, since that's what we're kind of exploring. So I know there's studies about if you analyze, you actually use a different part of your brain than empathy. So if you're analyzing things, you're actually inhibiting empathy. So I just wonder about the role of empathy in prototyping. I don't have any clear experience, but with empathy, we're listening, we're feeling into someone's experience, and with the prototyping, it's like, oh, here's something. What's your experience around this? So it becomes like an offering, an empathic offering somehow. So,
that's good.
Yeah, I think it's really. How do you say? You have to. I don't know. You have to be careful. I don't know. I don't know the word, like, because it's a completely different like state of the mind when you're creating something and offering for people to judge already. So, and you're also attached to it, whatever you made.
Right.
So that can be a little tricky. With, you have to empathize with a person that is criticizing kind of what you made. So it can be. So you also have to be like double empathic.
Double empathic?
Yeah.
For yourself, you mean? Like,
for yourself as well.
Yeah.
Or being like, you're, admitting that, you're a little, how do you say, wary of having people like interact with what you made, but also you have to try and step out of this, like, it's really difficult to to empathize with someone who's like giving you feedback on your design.
Yeah, you're vulnerable. There's a sense of vulnerability and criticism and kind of being hurt, maybe.
Exactly.
Yes. Wow.
And I think by realizing it now, it will be better for us.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Sonia. And even what I heard from you saying is like that offering, somehow like if the empathy piece is actually in the design process of the prototyping, not the offering process. You know, like two different places. So let's say that like when we were making the cards, you know, so like if I were to really kind of like tune into my heart, you know, and empathize in that moment, you know, that moment is in some ways like it's separate from the moment of showing the work, right?
Yeah.
You know? So like I can see how like more empathy could come naturally there, you know, it's safer, you know. But then I totally am with you, Sonia, that like for me, because I really like I take things very personally, you know. So for me, like the process of showing it to people, I have to really have empathy for myself, and that's something that I'm working on. That's a big, that's a big.
Yeah, you're vulnerable at that point, and how do you hold that vulnerability?
Yeah. Well, that's been my question in my head. Like, is self-empathy? Is there such thing as self-empathy, or is it called something else? I was thinking, like, is it compassion?
Yeah, it's called there's a term self-empathy, so you're feeling into, like, if you're feeling vulnerable and kind of scared, you could also look at what the needs are behind that. Like, I'm afraid because I need safety, or, you know, you can kind of go under the painful feeling and the vulnerability, because what is it that you need? You know, what's behind that uncomfortable feeling? So that would be like going into your own felt experience. But we should hear.
That's great.
Mercedes, do you want to share
I'll be
some
right
thoughts?
back. I need to go to the bathroom. 1 sec.
Do you want to? You're muted.
Hello?
Hi. Do you want to say anything about the prototyping, your takeaways, or the role of prototyping?
I'm sorry I got disconnected. Yes, well, I find it's challenging for me. I can see the great benefits of doing so, because it really helps you to focus on what you want in the outcome of what you want, and what is really that you're trying to design for, and I like that. What I find challenging is that how fast it can move. When you're working with other people, it's really interesting, because you see how we approach things from different points of view, and at the same time it makes me feel vulnerable, because it's very imperfect, it's very rough, and it's there open to everybody to see.
Okay, I made some notes here in your area here. Prototyping is challenging, and about the vulnerability. Can't feel vulnerable. It's kind of vulnerable because everyone can see it. And okay.
Can you send again, please, the link for the Murally, to see if I can open it now that I just restarted this thing?
Yeah, okay. Just put the link in.
Okay. I'll try to see if I can open it.
Sorry, emergency.
Okay, the other number 3 was our course goals. So I want a prototype to build tools for empathy, and that's basically it. It's like I just see, in terms of creating a curriculum for fostering empathy, I see human-centered design as the core of that. And so instead of like just being to learn about empathy, they were actually doing an empathic process and then being active. And that's what I like about human-centered design. It's geared towards being active and creating, and I think that's really powerful.
Edwin, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm curious. How would you define a tool for building empathy? Like, give me an example of a tool.
Well, the empathy circle I see as a tool.
Okay,
it's a process using like reflective listening. Empathic listening is like a process and a tool. There's another tool like focusing, which is where you speak from your felt experience. You get reflection on it. I have some samples of that on the website. Some of the processes like out of nonviolent communication, where you hear a feeling and then you look for the need behind the feeling, and having like exercises where you learn that process. So that's kind of what I'm calling a tool.
Okay. And you're looking to develop new tools, possibly? Like outside of those. Okay. Super cool. Okay.
And apply them to different places. So for example, in one of our teams, we were looking at how to prototype how to bring empathy circles into the schools.
Right.
And then one of the things we came up with was to have mediation between superheroes, because like kids love superheroes and supervillains, the high school students.
Yes.
And so we did like an empathy circle where they did role plays of being a superhero and a supervillain, and then there was a super empathy mediator, and they used empathic listening with, and
the mediator.
And they really like that. So I see that as a tool. It's a kind of a service or a process. Or, Yeah.
So it's a tool and an application.
Yeah, that too. Applying it too. So.
Okay,
and
cool.
your goals?
Yes, I want to learn prototyping so I can prototype my many ideas and get feedback from users. And like I said earlier, I feel that this is the tool I've been missing. It's it's the weak link in my process. Sometimes.
Kind of be able to take action, more of an action component.
Take action. I can have the courage to take action once or twice, at most. And if the result, if the feedback is not what I want, which is such a subjective thing on top of it, like, because I may compare to what I think I should get the feedback, I really get discouraged. So I want to actually work through continuously doing the prototyping, what Sonia was talking about. Like doing it for small things and seeing what works, what doesn't. Yes.
Okay. Sonia, you're...
Yeah, it's the same for me. So I think like prototyping is kind of a very weak link for me, because in the previous courses, even now it's with the other designer, it's only now we're reaching the prototyping stage, so we're kind of very late. But it's the weak link, because it's the part where you put something of yourself out into the world. So it's not just that I haven't done it before, but also that it's so vulnerable. It's like one of the most vulnerable parts of the process, because in the previous contact with the user or the people, basically, you're just listening to them.
Yeah.
So there is not, it's not about you or what you think or what you have. But now prototype is the part where it's about, it's not about you, but you think it might be about you.
Well, it's your idea on some level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now it's the most like vulnerable part of the process. So yeah, it's all about prototyping for me.
Okay.
And maybe there is empathy, but the empathy would be for myself.
Self-empathy.
Self-empathy.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes when we actually get feedback. I'm really curious about the in the field part and how we do in there.
Okay, Mercedes, any course goals?
Well, I can relate to all what Sonia and Rossi said. I want to prototype because I want to put my ideas into action faster. I have done a lot of workshops and created products, but I do tend to get sometimes stuck because I work with very difficult concepts and many things at the same time and many ideas running through. So prototyping forces me to work simpler, to get to one idea and try to develop it no matter how imperfect it is and iterate around it. And that's great for me. And the idea of doing it in this setting, which is working with empathy, it's quite good because, as I told before, empathy is a very abstract concept and very personal. So it goes very well with all the other concepts I want to prototype for.
Okay, so I wrote that down. That was, let's see, our workbook. That was that part. That finishes step 3, and we want to move on to the next mural. I can put that link in there. So this is the link to the next one. So if you can open that one. Oh, there's Lulu. Yeah, Lulu says it's been crazy. I don't know if you heard, her grandmother is in the hospital, so she's, has to do it. She says, hope it won't be a problem if I catch up with you next week. It's been crazy here. Also, warmest happy birthday. Wish you the best and great party this weekend. So that's very sweet of her. She's dealing with a lot. So, okay, that's, see, I don't see Mercedes, you're not in that room yet, or in that page.
I'm trying to open it, I tried to open it in another window to see if it opens.
Oh, there you go. I see now. Okay, so let me read here. It says, all good prototypes start from an initial spark of an idea. In a full human-centered design process, you would take time in the inspiration phase, as we did before in the other classes, to understand your users up front and frame the opportunities through synthesis. However, for the purpose of this course, we're going to jump right in with a topic that everyone has experience with and thinking about ideas to improve, actually I want to improve not health, but we want to improve empathy in everyday places. And whether improving for prevention, etc. Let me clean that up. I don't need that. Didn't see it. We've already started you off on a few pre-crafted ideas. We'll be selecting different. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, simplify it. So the idea here is, you can see we're going to be looking at. Let me lock that.
How do you lock things?
You right-click, and then you can lock it and unlock by right-clicking. You'll see that the locking just keeps it from moving by accident. So our design challenge is how might we improve the level of empathy in everyday places? And so we're going to be doing brainstorming for home, school, work, and community. And we're going to have 5 minutes to brainstorm in every category. I already copied some over that I had from yesterday's. And so the idea here is that we're going to be brainstorming. Okay, we're going to be just doing a whole bunch of brainstorms here, and then when we're going to be using these brainstorms to create prototypes. You know, we'll be creating one prototype today, another one next week, and then the 2 following weeks is another prototype. So we can actually start with that, take like 5 minutes, and just think about how can you foster empathy in the home. So there's like a product, service, or space, and there's a couple of post-it notes already there. You can copy them, or you can just use one of those just to get the ball rolling. So there's 3 kinds of ideas. They can be a space idea, a service idea, or a product idea, or whatever. I don't know if does that make sense? So we're taking 5 minutes to start the brainstorming.
Edwin, just a quick question, may I?
Yeah.
What is like just so I can have it in my head? Like, what would be our goal for end goal for today?
We're going to do another prototype today.
Okay.
We're generating ideas, and we're going to have about 20 minutes for generating ideas, and then we're going to take one of those ideas and prototype it.
Okay.
So, like in our group yesterday, they were into a mood lava lamp. So we created a lava lamp so that fostered kind of feeling in a space. So you never know what's going to come up. But
okay, cool. Thank you.
So we get those sticky notes and post it in where? In the product?
Right there. Yeah, right under the column there, right under the home. So you just take one of the, you can duplicate it, or you can create, even if you right click, it creates a sticky note. So there's different ways of generating a sticky note.
Oh, okay. So I can take one of these 3 you have, for example, on the product. Okay.
And just start writing your ideas of how. So the question is really, how might we improve the level of empathy in the home? Is the first question. We'll probably let's take like 10 minutes for this one, since this is the first one. We're getting used to it. I'm gonna clock up. Oh, so actually what we'll do is we'll take a few minutes just to have, brainstorm on our own, and then we'll share them, and then we can kind of build off of each other's ideas too. So let's just take a couple minutes to do brainstorming on your own.
Also, I think it's important to have different colors. So a product is green, a service is blue, and a space is kind of orange.
I see what you mean. Okay. I was saying my own color.
It's also good to think about what your idea actually is. So that kind of makes you think, is it a product or is it a service?
Right. Okay. Colors.
Oh, I lost mine.
Oh, not bad.
Shoot.
Okay, we could share those, and then we can play off of each other's ideas as well. So something I was just thinking about is have some dogs and cats, so pets, and also to be training them. I've seen that there's like, you can have these dogs that are like service animals, and that they go into the hospitals, or they take them in, so that the family could actually be training a pet. Training them to be like service animals is. Anybody else want to throw some in?
I had a similar one. I didn't want to put it in product because I was like, they're not products.
Yeah.
Put it as a service. Kitty hugs.
Oh.
Yeah. I had one just now. Half an hour of chosen chore that another doesn't like doing.
Do a chore for someone that they don't like to do?
Yeah.
Of course, there's the empathy circles, which I'm a big fan of. Like with my partner, her mother is in the hospital, and the whole family, you know, she broke her hip. She's 91. She just had surgery. Was at the emergency room. So it's this whole trauma, and everybody's getting all upset and stressed, and calls, and her brother just called, and he was feeling all upset, and Joan said, well, you can have Edwin give you empathy. So it could, she was too stressed to listen to his problems. So, and then she says, I don't know what to do because the family gets all upset. So I said, well, just have the family get together and have an empathy circle around this, you know. And so it's so around these kind of family issues that there's a structured empathy circle. So that's one idea.
Edwin, it sounded like she outsourced her empathy.
Yeah, outsourced it. That's it. I like that word, outsource empathy.
Yeah, that's a service.
Service guide. Outsource. That's
I know,
it.
my family likes to outsource empathy to me.
Actually, I had that some time ago, and I forgot about this. I didn't put this in I forgot about this idea. So basically, sometimes you feel like there's nobody you can talk to in the family.
Yeah.
So my idea was I already had, like, I couldn't sleep one night, so I had this whole brainstorming in my head. And it would be a service where you just sign up and have a call with somebody on the other side that also needs a little empathy. So you get like 30 minutes each, and you like have to. It's like an empathy circle for each other, and the other person just listens. It's basically a therapy.
Yeah.
It's not
like an empathy.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't. It's like it's essentially therapy, because therapists most of the time just listen. So and I had this idea, just like you sign up, but in the first call, there is a mediator that teaches both sides how to do it, or maybe your first call is with a mediator that helps you learn the process of an empathy, like listening skills, and then you get matched like randomly with a person. Obviously, maybe you can input like criteria. Maybe you don't want to talk to men or whatever. You just want to talk to women, a specific age or something, and you just you have this matching system, because sometimes you desperately need to talk to somebody, and there is nobody around, and you don't necessarily want to go to a therapist. But I wanted to make that service free, because I think it should be available to everyone. So I was thinking of other ways to maybe not monetize it, but like how to sustain it so that it's sustainable. Yeah,
even in the family, there could be a designated listener, but did they get some kind of special compensation for it through the family? Because I kind of do that in my family, like do some mediation. Yeah, I've done like conflict mediations, hosted family. So there's one person in the family that kind of has that role as the leader of that, but that they get something special back. I don't know if they get some kind of support or something. I don't know. They need something, some sort of compensation for it.
Yeah. That brings up a point that I was thinking about when we said outsource empathy. You know, one of my challenges in my family is like I'm the most empathic one, and sometimes I get burnt out.
Yeah, exactly.
When I feel like there's no agreement that the other people, like I get compensated for that. You know, it's sort of taken for granted.
Right.
Yeah.
You're kind of like taken advantage of, and everybody. Yeah.
Perhaps we can build a club for mediators, family mediators.
Yeah, a club for I love that.
Mediators. Club for family mediators. Well, and Sonia, there is a service that I found. It's called 7 Cups of Tea. It's a listening service online. However, it's texting. It's texting, and it's not super empathy based. Sometimes they give advice even though they're not supposed to. It's not just pure listening, but it's been growing like crazy. It's free service. Yeah.
Cool. I'm checking it out.
Yeah, you're checking it out? Yeah.
We'll be sure and write them all down here. So.
Where? Oh.
In our ideas.
Oh, but I thought that we were just listing ones that don't exist, or can we list ones that do exist?
We can, if you have some that exist that you want to copy.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It also gives us something to jump off of. I'm noticing that even one idea, other ideas get stimulated, which is what we're trying to do here.
Right.
I'm trying to go to the service. Where's the service? Blue? Yeah.
Blue is services.
To the next door. That says.
Okay. Do you want to keep mentioning the ideas? Any other ones? 7 Cups of Tea.
I wrote that one.
Massage chair. That's like family massage. That was another one that. There's this group in New Zealand, a woman, she's a massage therapist, but she's been doing a lot to bring massage into the schools, but then also into the home. She's Polish. I don't know if this is true, Sonia, but she says that the Anglo cultures are very non-touching.
That's true.
and the Eastern, maybe like Polish, there's more physical touch, which is healthier. So she's trying to bring kind of healthy, safe touch into the school, so the children, kind of learn how to do hand massages and back massages, and then they also bring it into the home. So and that raises oxytocin, which is going to create a more, warm.
I think someone should bring that service very subtly, though, to Japan. Japan is an extreme case when it comes to touching or showing affection in the family. It's the most surprising thing that I came across in Japan. People in a family, like, girls with their mothers, they don't hug, they don't kiss, they don't, they don't show affection to each other. And it's not just one. It's whoever I spoke to, all the girls that exchange students, and when I was in Japan, they never showed affection in the family. Never. And it was
so hard.
It's like I can't imagine that. Basically, I have I cannot empathize with them because I have no idea where it comes from. It's crazy. I think I should probably research that because it's just
offered as a service there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's desperately needed. Really.
Oh, do they have any other way of showing affection? Did you?
I think it goes into very extreme ways, and so because there are many things like that in Japan where because something is socially limited or not accepted, it goes into an extreme. So for example, because Japanese culture is very you can say not strict, but distance in general in the workplace or something, they're and quite serious. Their TV is absolutely ridiculous. It's full of just stupid gags and really hilarious, but just really completely brainwashing things. It's the complete opposite of what is happening in people's lives, let's say, and how they are supposed to be in the workplace, for example. I think one way that, for example, I think probably girls cope with this.
Sorry, I'm gonna step away for 5 minutes. As soon as you're done with this, you can start on the next.
Let's take a break.
Okay, let's take a break. Sorry, but if you want to continue finishing that, we'll just take a 5-minute break. But
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I guys have to go deal with my partner's hair. I gotta do the coloring of the tag.
Oh my God, that's cute. Okay, Sonia, that's actually a good point. I mean, it's in America. Where are you? You're in Poland?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that for the free hug movement, the global free hug movement, Poland and Germany, Poland and Greece are the biggest centers. I know that in your cities there are people that 100 people go and hug. As opposed to here in the States, we've been doing it. My friend has been organizing it for years, and it has not grown. It's still 5 people.
I don't know. It's so weird for me because it's just so normal here. It's it's so normal here.
Yeah, hugging in particular.
But it's not even hugging. It's duh. People hug, people kiss, and do all sorts of things together, and it's not. I don't know. It's not seen as weird, that's for sure, or unaccepted or anything.
We are the same, Sonia. I think in the United States, my experience is that we have here. There's so much fear about sexual harassment, wrong touching. It's getting constrained, being sued. It's getting constrained. People are really the people is very. I feel here in the United States a loneliness that I don't feel in countries which living in desperation.
Absolutely.
And it's because you have so many external rules to explain everything. So spontaneity is not welcome.
Spontaneity is not welcome. Yeah. Yeah, and also things have been kind of like they've been commercialized. So like listening has become, like you said, Sonia, therapy. You gotta have someone to listen to you. You have to go to a therapist. You want a massage, you're gonna go to a massage therapist. You know, and the massage therapist, it's so crazy because it's so expensive. I've wanted to do massage school, but it's like $15,000. You know,
What?
you're not supposed to massage if you don't have a license. You know, it's a big thing.
That is the trick, Rosie. That's what I was going to say next. The only problem is that you have to be certified for everything. So my question sometimes to the Americans is, do I need a certified for being alive?
Probably you do.
I think so. You definitely have to earn money.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we are the only species on Earth that has to pay to live.
It's such a good point. I really think about things like that. Yeah, and what?
Sorry.
Say it again.
Imagine getting certified to give hugs, or getting certified to be empathic, or getting certified as my way of to try to make soul making with kids or with people. So you have to be certified. How do you get certified? And not only get certified, you have to renew the certification every year. So at the end, we are striving
to create an organization yourself that certifies.
Yeah,
and certify yourself.
Let's write it here. Service, an organization that certifies true expression and spontaneity.
And empathy.
Nice.
You are a certified empathizer.
Well, and you know what's so funny, that in that 7 Cups of Tea, they do have a little training with certification, but you know what? Honestly, it's kind of a joke. You know, it's not really deep. I do feel that our culture, like, I mean, we're not educated on that. You know, we're not. There does need to be, like, for those people that, for one reason or another, I study a lot of personality theory. You know, I do think that different people have different personalities. You know, so there's some personalities that really can use some help, but they don't know. They're clueless. You know, so it's kind of, I don't know how we can empathically tell them. Maybe this is in the school part. For the next part, we could talk about that. You know, how we can empathically tell somebody, you know, you need a little bit of training. You know, just a little bit. You know.
Yeah, but how do you write spontaneity like that? It doesn't seem to be. Can you check it? It's so hard for me to write anything here. How do I get back to Windows 7, 8, or whatever window that it's not 10?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably, you know, because this is a new app, this is a new thing. It's so hard for Windows 10 to adapt. Yeah. But you know, I think that what your experience is with the hugs and, well, that my experience when I came here, Sonia, Rosie, imagine I've come from Latin America. Sonia must be like, oh, and, you know, we hug, we kiss, we just hang out, you know, come on, and just met you. Right. And there's nothing wrong about it. There's not, you know. When I came here, my natural instinct is to kiss or just to hug the people I am getting to know. And they just go by a side and do like this, very far away. And it's so weird. Right. And they don't look at you. So there's also, Rosie, that idea, I call it the germ idea, no? Everything will become a germ. So you don't kiss because it's a germ. You don't touch because there's a germ. You go to every room in a school and you have to use all those products. So there are so many barriers for touching, loving, spontaneity, kissing, hugging, that perhaps we need to design ways in which to bring a sense of safety, that those things are not wrong and those things are safe. You can imagine if you're going to get a bug every time you hug, probably you won't hug.
Right. That's a fear. That's a fear. It's a fear type. Oh, that's a good one actually. To somehow address the fears that would stop us from being empathic.
Yeah, create like safety ideas or instruct people about. You remember when this is a very extreme case, but when how do you call it in English? HIV came, everybody was terrified about touching, and with training, with educating people, with telling about what was real and what wasn't, people started to move easily around loved ones who got sick or normal people. So perhaps we have to do the same with hugs and empathy, create some kind of educational thing that tells people, this is good, this is bad, or this is bad touching, this is good touching, whatever, to create a safe space for people to start trying it, how it feels.
That's our next brainstorm that we want to start on with is empathy in the schools. And sorry, Sonia, for having cut you off there. My partner was saying, oh, you got to come help me, come help me. So, sorry about that, apologize. So we're ready to do our 5 minutes of brainstorming on empathy in the school. That's the next column over. I started with like a mediator. It was the Mediators Club. I think somebody else said that. Having empathy circles in the schools, having healthy massage training, healthy massage training.
I think schools, especially like the high school, middle school, like my sister is in high school now. And it's horrible. It's a horrible world.
Yeah.
So I feel like schools are the most difficult space to design something around empathy because it's just not in young people's like even vocabulary. Basically.
So you think it's a painful space, a difficult, painful space?
Yeah, I think there is a lot about. There is definitely not repulsion, but like not showing your feelings and being cool all the time, and being a celebrity always on, and doing what other things is cool.
So how do we address the don't show your feelings, difficult space? So what are ideas for addressing that?
Well,
with empathy.
I will create some kind of common humanity cocoon, a place where the kids can understand that what they are living, what they are feeling, everybody's going through it, Everybody thinks, at least a great portion of kids in high school think it sucks. They all have the same fear of being rejected or being, signaled and all that. So perhaps creating a space where they can understand, come together in what they are feeling.
The common humanity cocoon. I wrote that down.
I was writing it too. Okay.
Oh.
It's really difficult with those spaces because things like guides and courses, I have a feeling that like when I look or when my sister tells me about what's it like in their school, I can't say for sure, but I would imagine that they'd just reject it.
Why?
Because it's not cool. It's not cool to talk about feelings and be vulnerable, and
but we can design it to be cool.
Yeah.
We could. Like there could be for instance, like maybe a star, a teen star, where they can do a video, and then, I'm even seeing it like as a music. I know that's a little far out there, but just kind of, I've seen people do really visual things, that are very, like not so much word, but actual visual and pictures you know, that can convey the feelings.
So you're wanting to create a space that's an empathic space, and maybe create that space with pictures.
Ooh, I didn't think of that. I was more in the product side, Edwin, where I was saying like an empathy guide and empathic videos, and also like vulnerability course.
Oh,
You know, but Brené Brown's work is really powerful. I mean, granted, I mean, but when we say school, we can also mean college, right? You know, it doesn't have to be high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like a course, but I like the idea of actually having a, what did you call it, Edwin? Like a space? What kind of space?
It's a creative space, but you design the space so that it's optimized for creating kind of connection, right? You have pictures. There's something you can do to create a mood. Even if you have like a statue, you have statue of people hugging, or you know, something that that the space is designed to foster. Even the way the seating is done, right? You can have seats. There's little areas for people that get students to sit together. Somebody like mentioned, like with empathy circles, they said everybody's very busy, but that during lunch they could have empathy circles. So when you go to lunch, you go and you get sit with certain people, you know, kind of, and then you have like your empathic listening during lunch to talk about.
We could do empathy buckets, like trash cans.
Empathy buckets? How would that work?
Oh, well, you have like cans or trash, you know, like these big trash cans, cool cans or buckets around the school that have, I don't know, images and you can put things in or get things out that speak about, you know, an image that speaks about empathy, famous people having, you know, moments of empathic, of hugging, of being open to others, and you can put things or get things out, or it can have cards or things you can. What will be an empathic action today, or what will be cool empathy today, and you can try to play that role while you are having lunch. Also, we can have, when we were in the family, I wrote about an empathy corner where you can leave requests. These buckets can be for requests, or we could have also boards, colorful boards along school.
I like it.
Empathy buckets, pictures, trash. Can take a can to take empathy games and tools or ideas out of.
Yeah, request box.
Edwin, this is kind of a question that's arising. Since some of those things, like for instance, like creating a space, like I put like a hug station, there could be a space that could be, but it's also it could be a product and a service.
Yeah, that's not clearly. It's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal because everything kind of melts into everything else.
Okay.
But the one thing is, a school design project. So at the school, the students get together and use human-centered design to design an empathic school themselves.
Which they can actually learn design as well.
Yeah, they learn empathy and design themselves, and then they participate in the creation of that empathic school.
Yeah. Well, this actually brings up a point. Right now, you know, like we're focusing on the design aspect mostly, right? And we're assuming that empathy is the underlying assumption, right, that we're working with.
Right.
But it would be interesting if I don't know if we have the time, Edwin, but for instance, for us to actually do some empathy with each other, you know, we did, like, I loved the mirroring things last time. That was just like the best. So maybe like we could do a little bit of empathy listening in order for us to really kind of practice preach, you know, like just like a school project. If it really was like empathy was really embedded in it, you know, while they're designing. You know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, the design process sometimes can be cerebral. You said that, Sonia. You know, like it could be kind of like it. You know, it's a thinking process on some level. You know, we're trying to bring the empathy, but how about if we actually, like right here, you know, we really imbue more empathic parts.
Yeah, see how we could bring more empathy into our own team.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the mini design, we actually did like an hour of empathic listening, and then we redesigned it. So that was like one way we brought it in. So whatever ideas you have, like we could, if you want to call, well, we need a reflection, right? A mirroring. I would say anybody just call it and say, because it only takes a few minutes, and then that's kind of like a way of attuning. Or when we're doing the brainstorming here, we could have someone that does a reflection of the ideas too, right?
Okay. Like a one group reflection.
Yeah, if you want to, when we do the work, we're going to move on to the work next.
Yeah.
Would you like to reflect back people's ideas, kind of empathically reflect back your understanding, something like that?
Okay, I could try. You know,
okay.
I don't have as much practice as you do, but I will.
Oh, we just did that with. I did an empathic inquiry workshop on how might we address gun violence in America.
Right.
And the process of empathic inquiry is there's a facilitator who's very good at empathic listening. And then that was Rosa. And then people came up with their ideas, and she would reflect back the idea and then write out the idea. And so we had the verbal reflection as well as the written reflection. So that was, it's a very empathy building process. So shall we move on to so.
Wait. I just wanted to mention that we were kind of focusing on just like kids, but maybe it's just a experience from here in Poland. But the school that my sister is in, and it's not a bad school, but the teachers are savage.
Yeah.
They are horrible. They are horrible people. They should not be teaching.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. It's quite it's quite astonishing sometimes, some of the things she's telling me. So one problem is that, like, how do you make teachers accountable for what they do, but also how do you
select
teachers to be empathic towards your students?
Yeah. Or hire.
Because how can you foster empathy among children in a school where teachers don't have any? You know?
Right.
If they're learning from adults that empathy doesn't matter and it's not happening, then nothing's gonna do it. Yeah, like nothing's gonna change. So it has to. That's like a particular case, in maybe in Poland or something, that we just don't have very like empathic teachers.
No, I want to reflect, Sonia, totally. I resonate with that. It totally brings up a memory. I actually had a extremely, I don't want to call her cruel, but she had no empathy and was very kind of militarian.
Yeah.
Teacher, gym teacher. And I had broken my foot maybe 2 years before, and I told her, I was like, I don't want to do this high jump. And she's like, no, you will do it. I did it, and I broke my foot in the.
No, that's actually, I would say that forget about the kids. It's much more important to make teachers empathic first.
So I wrote that down. Empathy for teachers and training, empathy training for teachers.
Yeah, I have that
program.
Here.
Oh, you already did that. Okay. But we need to move on to the next one. We're trying to do empathy in the work now. So I'm seeing here we have a request box, building vulnerable feeling is cool board, bucket hot spots for work, empathy circles, work empathy design project, building more. So again, it's the same thing that we have a design project co-design. So it's the the workers in a company co-design a more empathic workspace. Any other ideas? So we can just start throwing ideas out for the workspace. We're just doing an open brainstorming.
I think that the first, you know, the first thing when you're in the workplace is ask people what they will like, what they will feel will be an empathic workplace. What do they see themselves? How it looks like? How it, you know, how do people act?
So interview people about. It's almost like do an empathy inquiry into what people would see as an empathic workspace.
Yeah, like you remember that, like a brainstorming. You remember that dynamic facilitation? Perhaps a dynamic facilitation small workshop will help to gather all the information, and from there, together, you know how this workshop, how these organizations use the process to create vision and missions and objectives for the organization. Well, they can create the same process to build empathic work places.
Okay, have an empathy dynamic facilitation process to build an empathic workspace. Is that it?
Yeah, vision, mission, activities, but
okay, other ideas?
I have like an email client, or maybe like an you know, a Chrome extension or whatever that teaches how to respond to emails in an empathic way. So, you know, always reminding you when you get an email, you know, read it once, breathe, take a walk, come back, say thank you for the email. You know, just respond like, we're gonna take care of this. That's one email. Then read it again. You know, like teaching you how to respond to an email.
Okay, so that the email itself has in it some steps for how to breathe, how to be empathic, and how to respond empathically.
Some kind of a guide inside, or yes, something like that.
What about signs? You know that when you go to workplace, there are a bunch of signs. So what about signs? How are we being empathic today? What can we do to feel better? Coffee empathic room, a feet ahead.
So lots of empathy signs and empathy coffee room ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, changing some of the signs you have in an office, like, you know, for signs that actually bring people to feel more relaxed and more open to others.
So that's, again, creating a space, an environment that kind of fosters empathy. And that could be even with the furniture, right? It's like if you go to the design school, the furniture in the D school at Stanford is all geared towards design, right? The standard classroom or workspace, you know, little cubicles, everybody's working on their own. In the D school, it's kind of collaborative space. It's all portable. You can move everything around. There's lots of whiteboards. So it's really, the space can be optimized for empathy or.
Yeah, but yeah, that's right. It's just that I feel that if the space can be cool, but if people doesn't know how to be empathic, it's, you know, it's like sometimes we just need to be reminded of things. That's why I was thinking about having signs that allows us to be in another place, you know, not just rushing along the day.
So signs that kind of take you out of your regular day and transport you into.
I feel that it kind of, once again, I'm taking more of a top approach, like I did with the teachers in the house, like environment. A very empathic way of a workplace to like answer people's needs would be actually to let them relax, to have a sleeping or a relaxation room, to acknowledge that people cannot be, you know, on for the whole 8 hours and constantly working. So that would be like the workplaces or like the company's way to be empathic towards their workers, like their employees. They acknowledge that people need to relax from time to time.
And you know what? We could add, you know, all the workplaces and other spaces have TVs, have screens everywhere. What about having pop-in screens that talk about relaxing, being empathic, or, you know, focus on something nice, or just breathe? So these screens just pop messages, you know, like you when you go on the streets, you have all these ads. Why don't have ads that actually help us feel better, feel closer?
Yeah. I thought you said puppet, and that was kind of, you could have little puppets that, you know, those little puppet shows.
Well, you know, I will add that too. If I am in a cubicle and I cannot see somebody, perhaps I can get a puppet and say hi.
And you talk as puppets over the wall, like you have a little hand puppet. Hi there. That'd be cute. I like that.
Yeah, I like the puppets too, because that connects us with our inner child, with a part of us that is more open.
Yeah, playful. Playful puppets.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any more? We're ready to move on to the next one. Okay,
yeah, I just wanted to say again, like, because I feel like it's the same with like schools, that if the workplace itself, like the management, is not empathic towards the employees, then nothing is going to make them be empathic towards each other.
Yeah, you know, Sonia, I think you're right. I think that all the ideas we have come around, we will always need to create, you know, to have a training or an open space to be able to talk with the people in charge, because they have to know, you know, and you can always, you know, you want better engagement of your employees, you want more productivity, you need empathy. So we need to also create, perhaps, Edwin, ways about, and this is going to sound horrible, ways to sell empathy to the people in charge.
That's right. That's the bigger design challenge.
Yeah.
How do you sell empathy to the management?
People in charge.
That how to sell empathy to the people in charge.
Yes. And then you can add to that, how do we promote a movement in the bottom line that will force these people in charge to listen?
Oh, okay. But what is the idea for that? How do we sell the? That's the design challenge. We have the question, but we need some ideas for how to do that.
Well, first, looking for places where productivity, gain, benefits in measure, you know, come increase through having an empathic workplace.
You always have to, for management, you always have to tie it to the bottom line, to the finances, to the profit, productivity. Otherwise, it's not going to matter. So showing that it's related to like employee productivity and happiness in the workplace and increased output and increased profits for the company, that's probably the way. So I would say that in this case, the solution would be research. So writing a research report or researching how does empathy towards the employees in the workplace relate to productivity.
Yeah.
Or like create a benefits of empathy paper, research paper, and it's addressing productivity, for example. It was productivity benefits for workers. Okay. All right, then we got that.
Benefit charts about using empathy in a workplace or in a school. And as you say, Sonia, that charts that are very well researched, and you can actually prove that they are correct. You know, numbers are right.
So it could be used in for the school or the workplace, basically. Yeah. So it's multiple use. Okay. Okay. Do the final one, which is community. So the question is, how might we increase the level of empathy in your community? And so we've got about 5 minutes for brainstorming that. Any ideas? We have community design project. Again, we're repeating a lot of these. So campaign about hugs being safe. We have community empathy design project building. Let's build more empathy community. It's doing some of those dynamic inquiry or dynamic facilitation. I like to use the word empathic inquiry process. So that's the one we did with Rosa, and I can send you the link to that sometime. It's a nice process for just bringing people together to brainstorm.
Which one? Which one?
That was the one, the one that you liked, the dynamic facilitation.
Oh, yeah.
We did a workshop with Rosa on that, and I think the process is really good for kind of an easy process, facilitated process for a community.
Yeah. Oh, we should do that one again, Edwin.
Yeah, if everybody'd like to do it, we could do it on. It's a bit like what we're doing here, but it's more structured. So every time, I'm going to send you the link actually to the final workshop. You can see what we did.
Okay. What about I wrote? What about an empathy fair?
Yeah.
Create very simple, easygoing experiences and throw a fair, so people can come together and decide, and you can give them, after they experience that little time, you can give them other solutions, like, okay, we have workshops, or we can do this one a week, or the community center can have an ongoing thing.
Yeah, so community empathy fairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you, because I was thinking, where you offer different kinds of experiences. Because what could be happening, for example, with the hugs, it's that it's just hugs. If we could design experiences that, that speaks to perhaps touching, just talking, or dancing, or expressing empathy in different ways, then people can come, get easy enrolled.
Okay, like an empathy fair, offer different kinds of experiences, talking, touching, dancing, etc.
Yeah. To allow people different channels to experience empathy that could not be as threatening, for them. So they perhaps will go on experiencing another one. It's like building the ability, the skill.
Okay, so I built on that a little bit. So, but something else. So one of my ideas is like an empathy boot camp, where you just go and experience being somebody else for a day. So you sign up and you get different people sign up and they have to explain their situation and their whole story. And maybe it's like an RPG. Do you know those real life like game experiences? Where you go, if, for example, you sign up for that and you become Harry Potter and somebody else is Hermione, and they all go to a castle and they have like tasks and they pretend that they are those people. So have that like different, like being somebody, like somebody that is also there and trying to be that person, maybe in some kind of a scenario. I don't know. I'm imagining being taking on of a role of a person that you're not, basically.
Yeah, but for a whole day. It's not just for a few minutes. So I think the idea I'm seeing is like a whole day, so you really are getting into it that way.
Yeah, but it would have to be based on some kind of a, like all these RPG games, they have a script. So there is something, like everybody has a task. So if you're a Harry Potter, you have to get the Golden Snitch, whatever, and if you're Hermione, you have to read the most books. I don't know, but there is some task, and everybody's trying to get that task done. But they have to stay in their role. That's the point. So I was thinking of that and how to translate it into like this empathy, experiencing empathy for somebody else by trying to emulate who they are. Yeah, because I think like actors have to have a lot of like empathy developed if they're trying to learn for a role that that they've never experienced. For example, they have to get in the mind of that person. So I think borrowing some kind of acting like tools and methods would be good. And another one I had that was actually from a TED Talk, and I don't remember. I think the TED Talk is called "Take a Republican to Lunch," but something like that. So basically, it's a service. It can be an app where you get it's just for talking. So you meet over coffee or you chat or whatever, but you get matched with a person with maybe completely different worldview than yours. So if you're an atheist, you get matched with a religious person, and you just have to, you just try to get to know that person, and yeah.
Imagine doing. I like that. Imagine doing. I've heard here about something called speed dating. Imagine doing speed empathy. So you sit in a circle with different people, and you have some minutes to talk to each other, and you are moving. So in an hour, you will have gone through at least 10 different ways of seeing the world.
Yeah, that's a completely different take. It's more like a fast food empathy.
It's like you get we do the empathic listening. It's you get like 2 minutes of empathy each, right? But you get a whole bunch of people, so you get to say something for 2 minutes. The person reflects, and then you move on, and you go around through like 20 people, but on some issue or maybe on some topic.
But for some people who have never experienced and are afraid, perhaps 2 minutes it's a good way to start.
No, I didn't mean like fast food in a bad way. It's just like in a kind of, because fast food is safe, right? It's always the same. It's kind of
convenient. It's convenient too.
So it's a really interesting way to kind of market it. Not something that you have to go into deep and be very serious about, and like you have to commit for an hour or not. But just like, so I like that.
Okay, Rossi, did you have some? I hadn't heard from you for a while.
Yeah, I just I had a little bit of a trigger response earlier, so I am kind of waiting for you guys to finish on this, and I wanted to address something with you if it's possible.
Okay, I feel complete here. our time was up for this brainstorming here. So
Is it?
yeah. Do you want to share whatever up? Maybe I'll do some empathic listening around it.
I do.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is there was something that happened that you felt triggered around, and you would like to address that?
Yeah. So when I was sharing about my experience in gym class as a kid, it was a traumatic experience.
Oh, So you were sharing about your experience in gym class, about how you had this kind of authoritarian teacher, and it was like a traumatic experience, and you shared that, and that memory was coming back?
Yeah. Yeah, so, and I understand that we have a time schedule, but I felt like you didn't address it in any way, and it was about moving to the next place, so I really felt unempathized with, and that triggered me, because it feels like if we're in a class that talks about empathy, if we can't give each other empathy, it kind of makes it hard for me.
Mm-hmm. So you had brought that up, and then we just moved on. So it seemed like, you know, we're just moving on, and we're not really addressing kind of the issue that was coming up,
or at least acknowledging, not addressing.
Or acknowledging it. So you would have liked some acknowledgement of it, and that would have, you maybe felt more empathic, since this is an empathy group.
Yes. Yeah. Also, I felt like we were gonna take a break at 12:30, so I took my own break. Kind of felt like I needed to take care of myself, but I really wish that we could have breaks so we can have our, you know, for me this is a long class, but that's a separate issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd like more breaks, and you had done your own class. I mean, taken your own break already.
Yeah.
Okay, is there more?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so we could take a break. We hadn't set the time. I was thinking of taking a break after this part gets finished. We could take a break after this. I mean, there's one more step, then we could take a break if that works. And I don't know if anyone else has any comments or.
Yeah, I do. I want to tell Rosie that I completely agree with her. That sometimes we go through things because we have to rush and find a schedule, and it's not the first time dealing with empathy circles that we have addressed. That we don't hear ourselves heard in the group. That we are so eager to prototype something that we forget empathy at all. You know, we are prototyping for empathy. We're not being empathic, and it's not the first time that it has come in my experience with the groups here. So as you, I also need more breaks, or feel that the class is very long, and perhaps that challenges our empathy or triggers a lot of things. I did comment, wow, that must have hurt you, but left it that way, and I apologize for that.
It's okay.
Perhaps we could make some kind of, we have effects here, although they don't work for me. Perhaps we can set some kind of common sign that when something like this happens, that could trigger in us a response that we will withdraw, put that sign so we can make a little stop, just to at least go through the feelings we have and give ourselves space so we can connect. I understand, Edwin, that perhaps we cannot, of course we cannot do therapy here, but we could have a sign and give ourselves 1 or 2 minutes to be listened at, or to just acknowledge that somebody is moved and deserves that time to know that we are with with her or with you or whatever.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you. So how would you like to proceed? Do you feel heard, or do you would like more kind of discussion around this? What I'm kind of hearing is we can get maybe like triggered or something gets set off, and we want to have a space so that everyone can feel heard, and definitely I would definitely like to create that space. And I find stepping into a little bit of empathic listening is very helpful for that. So
yeah,
if anybody feels like maybe we could just say, hey, I need some empathic listening, can we do a round of just mutual listening, that would be something that we could do at any point. Would you be going to reflect back what you're hearing me say, Rosie? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that you feel that would be a good idea to create some sort of a way to signal to others to have a little empathic listening if something like this were to happen. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I took a workshop at the D School, and it was the same thing. It was very fast-paced, and then I started feeling kind of disconnected, and I really thought it would be good if they had some space in there for connecting and kind of having an empathic connection. So I think it would be good if we can do that in some way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the best way of doing it, but it's
yeah.
I mean, that.
I really am noticing it's kind of ironic because it almost feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy. 10 minutes earlier, I had said something about like us doing an empathic listening, and I don't know if I honestly I don't know how triggers come for me, but I did. It was a genuine trigger for me, and I still feel a little bit not fully heard, Edwin. Like it feels like my felt sense is like being a little bit of a not nuisance. Not that's not from you, but just kind of feeling. I don't know. Still not like I don't know if it's safe to express that here. I don't know that 100% yet.
Yeah, so still feeling unsafe maybe around expressing how you're feeling and kind of stopping the process and
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not a because I feel like the group has a potential to really be close. I've never I really enjoyed last week's class, and I felt like it was such a level of closeness created over the internet, which was mind blowing. But I feel like with that type of closeness, things do come up like this, and I just feel like I would like to know that that's okay, because if we're hearing ourselves, and our ideas and what we really feel and think about things,
What if we have a vote right now? Is it okay to bring up any issue? For me, could we take a vote on that? I would say yes, bring up anything and everything's fine to bring up.
I just wanted to say that I think there is a bit of contradiction in what you were saying, in that the class is very long, but we're prolonging it right now. So how do you resolve that where you want to put more time into things that sort of shouldn't belong in here? I understand that.
I feel like they do belong here.
I know, but then it's prolonging the time that you also mentioned that is very long. So we're not working on what the objective of the class was. We're solving these issues, and I don't know. I think there is a contradiction in that. So there has to be a way to solve it so that we don't take much more time to doing the class, because it's also very long for me and it's very late. Here it's already 8 and I haven't eaten, and it's still 1 more hour. So.
Well, can I reflect what I'm hearing there is that you're saying that the class, we've got a class that is 3 hours, which is quite long, and there's, it's kind of timed out, so that's
right.
It's pretty compact. so that if we're taking time to do processing kind of issues, that will extend the time. So there's kind of like a issue around that. Like it's like we might not get the class, kind of finished what we want to accomplish, but then again, there's the other side is so we have a need for effectiveness of doing the class, but it's also a class about empathy, so we also want to hold that need too, to have it be empathic. Mm-hmm. And how do we kind of hold those two needs of kind of effectiveness and empathy? And then I guess the other part is that since it's about empathy, if we're effective at being empathic, that's another kind of aspect to it.
I just think there has to be an effective way for bringing empathy so it doesn't get like, sort of in contradiction to make the class much longer.
So I have a question. Can I jump in? Sonja, will that be okay with you, Edwin and Ross? See? Edwin, my question is, do we really need the 3 hours to do this workshop? Can we reduce it and try to be more effective and have that extra space to be some kind of wild card to be used in case we have issues that we would like to work?
The course is designed for 3 hours, and that's what they recommend, and it's all timed out if we want to do the course. We're even the 3 hours is pretty pressed. So in terms of one thing would be is to just meet outside too for just empathic listening about the issue. Being disconnected is going to inhibit the flow too. So we want to have everyone feel connected, but maybe we could just take it could be like we know that if there's an issue that comes up, we're going to have 5 minutes to kind of process it and then kind of move on. So that's the other thing, and then have some time outside too to do just the listening around it. So. How would that work?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. Then.
And I also just wanted to address, Sonja, I hear that you haven't eaten and it's 8 o'clock in where you live. And I also hear that just like we had to propose breaks last time because they were not included in the course, I felt the need to do this because I was very disconnected. And I don't want to be disconnected. This is important to me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, somehow we broke kind of a promise to ourselves. There was supposed to be a break in the middle, but it didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say how about what I like to do is. Our next step is just to choose one of these that we're going to work on, and then we'll have our product idea. So that's on, we're basically voting on which idea we want to do. So if we vote on it and then select that, and then we'll be done with this page, and we could take a 10-minute break, is what I would propose. So, so to vote, we can take maybe just keep it simple. There's a push pins above there. You can just drag it to one of the ideas that you really like. And one of the product up above where it says home, 5 minutes, there's the little push pins.
Do each of us just pick one?
Yeah, we'll just pick one and we'll just vote on the one which one we're going to select. So
I think there's different, is that right? How I understand it, that there is a push pin for the most innovative and the cross for the most promising.
Yeah, I would say for time that we just choose one. So, and just be one product. What is one product that you think? And we're only doing it within the products. Which product kind of resonates best with you? And of any of the products.
On any of the, you know, it can be workplace, school, or wherever.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Did everybody vote?
No.
Not yet. Okay. Okay, it looks like we've got 3 already for the empathy mood meter.
Oh, I cannot move this fast enough. Sorry, I'm just frustrated with this stuff. Go ahead with that one. It's okay.
So we just put that into. We have the product. We're going to design one product, kind of as the next stage. So we just put it in for class 1. We're going to want to create an empathy mood meter for the family, and that's it. So we can close this screen, move on to which one is Make It, which is the next. Let me put that in here. I'll put the link in, and that's the link to the next page, and we can take a break now, or take a 10-minute break, and then and if you're feeling like you want to start in on this, you can already start in. So the idea here is we're going to make that now with materials that you have at home or online, but let's take a break first for 10 minutes. Get a thumbs up on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
So we're just taking a 10-minute break?
Ah, perfect. Okay.
Rosie, we could do some empathic listening around the topic in this 10 minutes if you'd like. You're muted.
I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe we could take 5 minutes.
For that? Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good. I got,
you don't have to eat or anything?
No.
No?
So just, can I just do a mutual empathic listening around it? So,
okay.
Yeah, so how are you?
I actually feel much better. I mean, I felt heard. So
okay.
Good.
Oh, good.
I feel a little bit of frustration over what Sonia said, but I also have empathy for that.
Mm-hmm. So you're feeling better, and you feel a little frustration around what Sonia said about keeping on track and so forth. But
yes.
Overall, it sounds like you're feeling better.
I am feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I feel a little bit of anxiety come up in terms of I want everyone to feel comfortable and good, and then there's also kind of facilitating too because of the time pressures. So there's a lot of different needs that are there, and kind of having a space for those is cause a little bit of anxiety for me on one hand, and on the other hand, because I'm wanting everyone's needs to get addressed and everyone to feel heard.
Yes. I hear that you feel a little anxiety because you feel that you want to have everyone's needs addressed. However, you also, as a facilitator, you have the time constraints to work with, and so you feel that that's a lot, and those you have anxiety around that.
Yeah, and I know the experience I had in the design school when I went there, and I felt kind of started feeling disconnected.
Yeah.
And it would have been really helpful, I even thought of it, is to have some times for having just a quick round of connection. That I think that would have really helped. So I have a real, appreciation for the importance of everyone feeling connected. So, and I think that's really important because we'll work more effectively too.
Yes, yes. So I hear that when you were in the design school, you had a similar experience of feeling rushed and feeling disconnected from the group. Yeah. And so you are appreciating that we can address this because you want to have people feel connected.
And it will be more effective too.
More effective. Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually having a total blast right before that happened. I was really enjoying and I was so into it, and then I just watched my emotions flood me, and it was, I know myself that happens from time to time. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's sort of the emotions flooded me, and I know from my own experience that either I have to take a good break, and try to work it out through my own self. But for me, if this was not an empathy, with this process, I would have maybe emailed you afterwards. I would have said, you know what, I'll address this with Edwin afterwards. However, because we're doing empathy, because we're saying empathy so many times, for me, it's so important to address that.
Yeah. So what I was hearing there is that kind of you're feeling really having a blast, having a lot of times, and this feeling came over, kind of washed over you, and you could just see how that kind of came in. And generally, you would just take time for yourself or address it via email with me afterwards.
Yeah.
But because this is an empathy group, we're supposed to be kind of empathizing and fostering empathy. That's why you brought it up.
Yes. Empathy is in the room, and it's so wild. I could feel your empathy in many occasions, your empathy for Sonia when you had to go away, all these things, and they're so little, and yet in my experience they make a huge difference, right?
Oh,
yeah, there's just the little acknowledgement, the little acknowledgement. It doesn't have to be a big thing, I'm definitely not looking for therapy, I've had a lot of therapy and I'm a coach, I know what I need and I know where to get it. It felt very important to bring it up here.
Oh yeah. So you were saying that it's it just takes a little bit of acknowledgments to kind of be seen. You'd see me do that with Sonia. My concern about just a little acknowledgement would have maybe gone a long way for what you were dealing with.
Yes. I was not looking for a big thing. Yes.
No, really.
Yeah. And I feel very heard right now. I feel very heard right now.
Yeah, well, I do too, and I feel very grateful for you bringing this up and dialoguing about it and looking at it, because I know the importance of the empathy. Really, I took a workshop once. It was for educators.
Yes.
This is a longer story, but there was a group of about 15 of us, and the instructors were just very kind of technical about what we needed to do, and they gave us an assignment. And there was somebody who was Hispanic who he was saying, I don't understand what we're doing here, and was just really upset. And then the instructor tried to tell him what to do better. And then he was just getting more upset, and the instructor finally gave up. But we were in the group together, so I spent I could see he was really upset. So I just spent the 20 minutes doing empathy with him, oh, you're feeling upset. He says, yeah, I don't think these are my kind of people here. They're progressives, and I don't feel like I'm part of this. So I just reflected and took notes about his feelings. Oh, you're feeling disconnected. You're feeling frustrated. You're needing connection. And so 20 minutes and at the end of it, he seemed to be really hurt. And then we went around, and actually, I turned that into our project we were doing. I had an empathy tree. So it was.
Okay.
We built an empathy tree out of Post-its, and then all the negative feelings were like leaves around the bottom, and then all the needs that were up as leaves in the empathy tree, and the stem was empathy. And then we went around and we shared, and he was just like, he said, it was so amazing what Edwin did. It was, I was feeling this, and he was so articulate. It was amazing,
That's awesome.
And then everybody said, "What did you do? What did you do?" And I said, "I empathized with him." And then and then people came up afterwards. They said, just this, it changed the whole class. The whole class changed because it moved from being just about the things we had to do to being about the empathy and being heard, and then the whole class, I think, was more effective afterwards out of that. So for me, that was like one of those peak learning experiences about empathy related to learning. So
that's awesome, Edwin. Thank you. I don't know if I could recount the whole story.
No, you don't have to. It's a long story, but yeah.
But I get that in 20 minutes you got that person to turn around from feeling very upset to feeling very grateful.
And he was going to walk out the door. He was like, seconds from walking out the door.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. That's so powerful. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like you, I believe in the power of empathy, and you're so much more experienced than me, like that's why you're doing what you're doing, like this is your life's work, and I really feel the desire to learn from you, and I felt like if I were to not say anything, if I decided to not say anything now, I think that would have been a detriment. Yeah. So I really appreciate us talking about this.
Yeah, I do too. I appreciate you bringing it up. So so good.
Yeah,
I can take a 1 minute.
Yes. Okay.
We can take a 1 minute break here just to.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hi, Mercedes.
Okay, so we lose Sonia.
Hello. Oh God, what do I?
Sonia, are you there?
Okay. No, she doesn't seem to be there.
Okay, well, we can even begin. I'm getting a little bit of an echo from somebody.
No.
Test.
Well.
If you can mute. Yeah, that was it. So, no, could be Mercedes.
Let's see.
Testing. Testing. Yeah, I think it was that echo. If you have earbuds or commute that. Okay, so our next step is to make it. So if everybody's on that page, I think. So at this point, we're going to take probably about. Oh, hey Sonia. So we're on this new page. Put the link in there again. So it's class 1.3. So you can put your name on one of the columns above. And this is, we're going to just take 20 minutes to create something that is a mood meter for a family member, for family members. So you can take some supplies you have at home, or you can gather some images or some drawings and just quickly, let's see, 20 minutes to create something. So you're creating a mood meter. It could even be a drawing, anything to measure the mood. And I might even cheat because I did something like this for the team yesterday. So. So we have till 20 till the hour. So we have 7 minutes. So Rossi, I see you're typing in that step 6. So that will be the next step after we create the prototype. Then we're going to share those, and then we'll be getting feedback from each other.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, we have about 3 minutes left. Okay, 2 minutes.
I will need a little bit more time because I'm
Okay.
having some technical difficulties. Because I made a video.
Oh, video! Wow.
Yeah. But it doesn't want to send itself to myself. Okay. Yes. Okay.
We can also start sharing, and then you can keep working on it, Sonia. That works.
You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. I just need to receive it in my inbox, and I'm gonna share my screen to share it with you because I think that would be the easiest.
Oh, great. So, is everybody else ready to?
Yeah.
Okay. Just as a test, up above by your name, it says done. If you go in there and click X, I'm just trying to look for an easy way to, but when people are complete, if they can, they will know.
How do we click it though?
Oh, you need to just put an X in there, something. Yeah. I think it should be an easier way. Something we can just click would be nice, huh?
The folks said murally.
Yeah, just something simple we could do. Anyway, I have to think about that. Okay, well, I'll get started then. So actually, I'm going to share the screen here and present to everyone as well. So we actually had something very similar in the other group. Came up, the similar question about a mood meter, family mood meter. So I had already created something yesterday, and this is to express that every person. So I made 4 copies here because everyone can have one of these, and then this is actually it here. It's a mood meter that has all the different moods, like, you know, hopeful, creative, lonely. So it's a dial. You can kind of dial it, and it has a candle in it, so that it has a sacred quality to it, right? It can be like a little bit of a shrine that your feelings are kind of have a bit of a sacredness, and so you can just shift, and then it's filled with the liquid, and the liquid changes color according to the mood. So now it's kind of a pink, which is I can say is angry, right? So the angry, that's not my mood now, but I would say excited. Here's excited, maybe. So it changed to the color of excited, and so anyway, that's the idea. And then everyone has one, and then they sit in the room, and even they could be connected with like Wi-Fi or your cell phone, so you can kind of change it, maybe remotely too, and there's kind of the dial part is the other thing. So okay, well, that's mine.
Edwin, I have a question. Did you make this yesterday?
Yeah, I made it yesterday for our team, for our class. I'd thrown it in the garbage, so I have to pull everything out of the garbage for
What?
this.
What do you mean the garbage?
I had thrown it away. This is actually a tea lighter. You know, it's very German. It's the German style of tea lamp. You know, you put
very
tea
elaborate.
for tea pot. So I just took you know, the emotion wheel and put the emotion wheel in there, and then put the candle in so you can kind of turn it. So anyway.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, it was fun to make.
How long did it take you to make it?
We did that in 45 minutes.
What? That's wild.
Okay, do you want to go next?
Sure. I came up with on the shirt a shirt that is visible, and it has a mood meter that would have a slider where the mood could be shown. Yes, and the reason why I made it that way so it could be more visible. At first I thought about a cup, but I thought that the shirt would be even cooler. And then I also would add a meter chart for a person to reflect on where exactly their mood is, what their mood is, like where within that vicinity. Yeah, I mean, obviously I didn't make that. I took it from the internet, but so yeah, the idea is for more self-reflection and for sharing that to the family members in the house.
Okay, but you're wearing it on a T-shirt, and so people can really see it.
Yes, yes. And I imagine it could be also moved like yours, you know, where if a person's mood improves, let's say that they were having a bad mood and then they improved, they can slide it again. You know? I had my mom in mind, so she could tell me what her mood is beforehand.
Okay, were you ready, Sonia?
Yep, I am. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And can you see it?
Okay, there we go. Yep, we need to mute. We should mute, I think, getting feedback.
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear the sound actually from presenting it, so we'll see. So I'm just gonna play it.
Oh, I got a prompt. I think I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling depressed. Oh, my daughter Sally. She's feeling sad. I'm gonna call her. Ding, ding.
Okay, so that's it basically. How am I stopping? Stop sharing. There we go. So I think you got it.
Yeah. So it's like a emotion meter on the arm then.
It's basically, yeah, like my sister said, oh, it's like a really bad Apple Watch. Yes, it's like Apple Watch app, and you get random prompts during the day, and you pick what you're feeling at the moment, and it gets sent to your most loved ones, and they get a notification, and you can call or message them immediately. Yeah, it was really nice to do it with my sister and her friend. When my sister, when I told her what it is, she was like, "Oh, it's so cute!" So I think it went well.
Did you just do that now, or had you done that before?
No, right now.
Wow, a whole video and everything. That's amazing. Okay, Mercedes. Wow, you're muted.
I know. Okay, so I'm not have a lot of trouble working with Neuralink, so it takes to me too much time, and it gets it hangs. So I couldn't finish mine. My idea was something that you could put at home, like a board, or have it in some common place. And it has the feelings in the center. The first part, you have like this magnet things that you could put magnetic, and each member of the family has one. And there's a meter. Here in the top will be like if I'm happy, different levels of happiness, different levels of sadness, different levels of isolation. And here will be a meter, and others here down you've got. I cannot move it, so perhaps you can move it. Down you have like listening. Wait, I cannot. Well, I cannot move it. This is just,
what did you want to do? I can move it.
I need to move it a little bit up so I can see what I myself did. Okay, I remember that down there somewhere I have the ideas in the top. You have the levels of the feelings of the moods you are.
Oh,
kind of. And in the bottom you have a scale. And you have different magnets with ideas. So you can ask for a hug, and the meter will tell how much you need that. And you can put it in whatever of the color, each color of the chart. It's a different emotion. So I need a hug. I need to be listened at. I need time alone, or I need to call a friend, or I need advice, or I need help, or I need you to stop. So the idea is that you don't have to communicate it directly if you don't want. You can just put how you feel and what you need in that magnetic board.
Okay, is that it, or is there more?
No, it's just I'm feeling frustrated now with this thing. So.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully we can get that worked out. Let me know if you need extra help with that. We can try testing things, see if we can figure it out, get it working more smoothly. So, okay, in terms of time, we only have 10 minutes left. I'm getting a little bit of feedback, I think. Is what we would be doing next is, getting feedback on each of these. So, I think maybe we could just do one round of getting a little bit of feedback on each idea, and then the next step would have been we get some feedback, and then you would create another just some notes about a future iteration. But I think we just have time for feedback. Maybe we can start with yours, Mercedes, since you were just up with. So I really enjoyed the idea that you have these different categories. It's like you're showing the feelings, and then you're kind of having kind of results of how to deal with them. So it's creating not just a meter of the feelings, but ways of responding and interacting. And it kind of gave me the idea of having the feeling and maybe the related needs, kind of below, and then ways of acting. So it's kind of, I really like that translation of the, of the emotion into other kind of components. That was something that came up for me. So if everyone else just go around and give your feedback on that. So we're doing Mercedes. Just any feedback on Mercedes?
Yeah, I agree, Mercedes. I really like the idea of actually giving the options of what to do in the certain circumstances. I feel like that would be an educational component because people may not think about it for themselves. That was I don't fully colors maybe because the colors are like not what I would normally like, the pink and the what are those, the circles? The circles are where they're feeling?
No, the circles are the members of the group or the family, so they can place themselves wherever they need.
Okay, and this is like a poster?
Yeah, like a magnetic thing. The colors whenever I couldn't work with them, I cannot work with the program. So I just whatever I got, I put it. So
yeah, no, now I see, and now I understand it. Yeah, for first like I didn't understand it, but yeah, that's a cool way to visualize the whole family. I would just like maybe the colors, like to just kind of keep a more natural color, because I don't know what pink is. Oh, because I can't read it. That's the thing. I can't read it on the screen.
Looks like love or something.
Okay. Very cool.
Okay, Sonia, any feedback on that one?
Yeah, I just wonder, how do you imagine actually it being used, like, you know, in the course of the day, for example? Like, where does it fit in the family's life? Like, who looks at it if it's analog and everybody's doing something else at different time? And, yeah, where does it fit?
you know, I will have it in a place like the kitchen. Perhaps in the fridge. Everybody's opened the fridge for something. And you could, as family, agree where is the place we all think it will do good for us. And even, I didn't add it there, but you know, even, you know, you could add things like, and I want the hug now, or perhaps later, you know. But yes, a place, a family place, which normally is the kitchen. You know, you can have a list of groceries in, even, you know, if I had the money, perhaps instead of having a fridge that tells me that I don't have milk, I can have a fridge that tells me that your son needs a hug.
I just, I think that for, like, it's, I don't know, assuming that everybody lives all day in the kitchen, basically, like,
no,
where does it fit?
No, I'm talking about
people's life. You know, mother is at work and father is at work and children are at school, and then they have extracurriculars. Like, when does it actually come up for people?
I told you, you can set a time for it. You can be all the day. It doesn't matter if you come at different times of the day. But if you come to a place where everybody has to pass, and we agree as family to take a look, you will know what's going on in the family.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. We only have about 5 minutes, so if we just take 1 minute for each person next.
Okay, but next time, Edwin, please just say the rules first and not interrupt the explanation just because it feels very rude.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. It's we have Sonia. Maybe we just go backwards. So with Sonia's, I like the one thing I'm starting to see is with all these ideas, I'm starting to imagine already integrating them. So you know that you've got the watch, it integrates with like the one I did, or the shirt. So I'm kind of seeing kind of a sense of all these are have a similarity in different venues, and they could be integrated. So that's what's coming up for me.
I can give feedback too, because I asked my sister and her friend what they thought about it. They loved it very much. They thought it was very cool. One piece of feedback was that, I mean, yeah, it's not such a big thing.
Well, maybe we could just get feedback from everyone else here first. Was that?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's more important to get feedback from outside, because it's,
okay.
like, I was using it, like I got feedback from people who could actually use it. So, and I wanted to share what other people thought of it. Like, they're here in the feedback, like people who are working around and others. So they also said they worried about the timing, and that it's perhaps it shouldn't be like every 15 minutes or, you know, every 30 minutes. And they also gave me a piece of feedback that maybe it would be good for the parents to send a prompt. And I replied to that our mom, for example, I imagine she would send a prompt like every 30 minutes, like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? So that maybe it's not a good idea, maybe limiting that to maybe like one time. So the feedback from the, you know, girls, 16-year-olds, was very positive.
Okay, Rossi and Mercedes, a quick feedback.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I thought it was amazing that you came up with this so fast. And yeah, my only concern would be of notifications because I don't like notifications. So for it to be sent right away, it may feel like pressuring to respond because it's like it could have like a lot. It could be disruptive to the day, sort of thing. But otherwise, I think it's a really good tool.
I think in that case it's okay because it's a member of your family. So you're not getting an email from a work colleague or something irrelevant. You're getting a message from your family, and of course you can always say don't respond now. But I think getting a notification that your daughter at school is not feeling very well.
Right.
So,
yeah, if it's only like in those cases when it's not they're not feeling well, then definitely like it's almost like an alert, an emotional alert. Yeah, or even physical if they're not feeling well physically. So yeah, I think it will be a useful tool.
Yeah. Okay, we get a feedback on Rossi's.
Could you explain a little more? Like I'm wondering what's the purpose of like having a T-shirt. Like who would wear it and when, and like once again, where does it fit in the life? Basically.
Family members. So this is just for family members at home, not outside. Okay. At home.
So you wear it around the house. Everybody's got a T-shirt that they're wearing around.
Yeah. Yeah, not outside because that would kind of be too much info. But inside the house, and especially like maybe if somebody is feeling like they're being touchy, if they can know to wear that shirt, it could elicit a conversation that otherwise may turn into a fight.
Does it mean that everybody has to purchase a pack of like 7 T-shirts?
No, it's a slider. It's a slider. You change it on the shirt. You change it on the shirt, Sonia.
I've got these lights, Christmas lights. I was imagining that this is really a lot, but you've got one of these little lights that lights up on what your emotion is, right? So. So it's like ding, ding. So if you're angry, it's kind of going there. If you're sad, it's like lighting up. I don't know. So I'm thinking of inspiration for kind of the next.
Right. Well, and also, it could be like some sort of a wearable technology where it actually you can put it in a app and then it shows up on there. Yep.
Yeah, I like that it's very public. That it's kind of like right out there in front of everybody. It's kind of like in your face, kind of in your face emotions, so.
Yeah, which could be, when you say it like that, it could be tricky, but I can see how it could be.
Well, that's sometimes like, there's whole styles of being in your face, so it's like, it's like, kind of experiment. If you're feeling, instead of being kind of like timid and withdrawn, you just kind of get in everybody's face with your emotions. So.
Are you saying this about me?
No, I'm saying it's a style. It could be a way of being, it might be good for growth or something.
I call it directness, but I see my mom who may have a hard time wearing the shirt, but I see her possibly wearing it. I don't know. I'll have to talk to her about it, see what she says.
Okay, prototype it. So what we're doing is it's kind of getting what worked, what didn't work, what questions we have, or what inspiration arose.
I haven't been given the time. Not the first or the second. I couldn't give my feedback to Rossi. I couldn't give my feedback to
maybe connection dropped off.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to her about that. So mine was was any feedback on mine with
I like the wheel. Yeah, I thought it was amazing that you made it so fast again, and the lighting aspect. I guess it could be a good thing. It feels like a conversation starter. And I like that there were different like the nuanced emotions. I like the way they were made like a color wheel. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like the sensation part to it, in that I understand that the liquid changes color.
Yeah, there was a little
That's a bit.
color in there.
That's interesting. I wonder what kind of technology you could use for that to change the color of the liquids according to emotion. But I think that would be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lava lamp. The idea was lava lamps, so you know how lava lamps have maybe a light in there or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That could be a light. Yeah, I was thinking of something super freaky like chemical whatnot that changes colors by itself, but yeah, I guess light is the more sensible option. Yeah, apart from that, I don't know. I think it would be a family very much dedicated to feelings for everyone to have a candle of their own, and
Uh-huh.
so it's a final step of a like super empathic family.
Yeah.
I think it could be a little hardcore for beginners.
Well, we can have the introductory step, like a little tiny one.
Yeah.
So, oh, great. Okay, well, that was testing and getting feedback. So what I found, too, is that as this comes up, I start thinking of other ideas, you know, that play off of your ideas, like integrating them, having an electronic version, like this one being Wi-Fi, being connected to your shirt. So there's a lot of things come up that we're out of time, but the idea would be to, you know, take about 20 minutes to come up with another iteration, at least the concept of it, and then debrief. So maybe we could just do one round, since we're out of time, just how the class was for you. I mean, the debrief was how did it feel to build things today? What challenges came up, or what were aha moments? And we can just share that and not write it, just for time's sake.
Who's going first? Should I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was obviously an emotional experience. I'm glad that we got to talk, and it made me feel able to work on the prototype. So I don't know. I learned a lot. I have to decompress and think about it. But yeah.
Well, the one thing that's coming up for me is, you know, trying to do the full class, you know, do all the different levels, but I don't think it's necessary that we just kind of go as far as we can with it. You know, weren't able to spend the 20 minutes on iteration, but for me that feels okay. That I think we got that we don't have to do every single piece of the class, that we kind of go through as much as we can, and we learn. I feel like, you know, we're learning from that. So that's one part. The other part is kind of the emotions that come up. I was seeing, you know, Mercedes was feeling quite frustrated, and how do we kind of hold that frustration, but also in an empathic way. So maybe think about ways of addressing that. So that's just some things that come up.
Yes.
For me, I loved the last part. I surprised myself in making the video, and that I came up with the idea. Because at the beginning, I just started making those like little strips of Apple Watches, and I thought I would just like post photos of it. But then I thought, I have some helpers in the house, and I have a video camera, and it was really fun to actually do it, and, you know, make a video of something and show, not tell, but show how it's supposed to work. So for me, the prototyping was great, and it makes me think that I actually could go ahead and try and make it. Maybe I should take an Apple Watch class, like Apple Watch coding class, and actually try and make it. So that was good. Yeah, and another part is, of course, like keeping the balance between like time we spent actually doing the class and time we spent doing other things. I guess. Yeah. So, but yeah, we should definitely have like a dedicated break time, and maybe having explicitly saying when it happens, and yeah.
Okay, yeah, so having like the break, we could have like a little icon for the break when it's going to happen, like between, so have it be like a button or something, say this will be the break, so people know there's going to be a break. Would be one idea. So, okay, well, good. Then we went 10 minutes over, but I think we covered a lot. So I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about the prototyping. Getting into the prototyping feels really good. A lot of times we spend a lot of time on the brainstorming, and to give the prototyping its due. I'm always, what my big aha is everybody jumps into the prototyping. Nobody ever doesn't come up with something. That everybody has this natural capacity and engagement for prototyping. So that's really interesting to see. So. Okay, with that.
Yeah, it's actually true that the idea came up, like I didn't even realize it coming. It was just like poof, and it's here. So it was really interesting. Yeah.